This is the second part of the video series that overviews the various types of ILEs for HPBS students. In this video, we will pick up where we left off in the previous video and talk about the parameters of the Plan B capstone ILE option. This is our newest option to be offered to our HPBS students, and it's something that students have really enjoyed and we're excited to be able to offer as an opportunity. This is meant to be a project that is conducted in a community setting with a community partner. It is meant to benefit that community site and the community partner. It's to help them answer a question or fulfill a task that they need to best serve their respective community. There are 3 different options when you choose a capstone. You can either develop a program plan, conduct a needs assessment, or conduct a program evaluation. And there is another video that goes over each of these different types. But the key feature is that the capstone must be completed in a community setting. And who is involved? You will work with a tenure track faculty member from HPBS, but you will also work very closely with a community preceptor that is located within the organization that you are working with. How you present the project varies slightly, or could vary slightly based on which type of capstone you are completing. The quality of the writing is the same. The length is largely the same, can be the same between the different options, but there can be some flexibility in the format and the sections and how you present the material based on the type of project and the preferences of the community preceptors. But typically a capstone has the same sections of a traditional peer-reviewed manuscript. The oral presentation is shorter than the other options. It's typically, as of 2023, about a 5-minute oral presentation, again, with your committee members present, open to the public, depending on COVID parameters and space limitations. And there is a time-limited Q&A. So there's usually not as much time for questions in this option. Similar to the manuscript, this product is due by the SDSU graduation deadline, which is usually the first week of May, if graduating in the spring, or the first week of December if graduating in the winter. So some notes, again, I cannot stress enough that this is supposed to be heavily involved with the community preceptor. You should be involved in crafting what the project looks like, but they're doing the ask. They are saying, hey, this will benefit us. Yes, I support this. And so you must make sure that what you are proposing meets what they are hoping to fulfill and results in a product that is useful to them and to the functioning of that organization. And this is great because it gives you experience in working with somebody and people and an organization that is engaged with the community, but it also comes with less control over the scope of your project, the question that you're answering, and what methods are used. And again, the subsequent video about the capstone will highlight some of the pros and cons of this option. It's also really important to note that the capstone is arguably best done as an extension of the field work you do to earn those public health field placement units, which right now is called 650. Most students find that it's advantageous to do their field work. And while they're doing their field work, they're getting to know the community, they're getting to know the organization and a preceptor, and that gives them greater insight into what project might benefit that organization and that community. And so they're able to extend that work in doing the capstone project. And you can imagine that that's much easier than trying to propose a capstone without an existing relationship with that organization. It's much harder from both ends, from your end and also from the preceptor's end. Moving on to the Plan B literature review. The Plan B literature review, there is an error here in the slide that I'm going to fix right now. The purpose is to answer a research question. It consists solely of a review of existing research. It can include a systematic literature review following what we call PRISMA guidelines. And again, there will be a separate video about this. There are different types of literature reviews, and that's up for you and your faculty advisor to choose which type is most appropriate for you. You can be conducted in any setting. You can answer any question as it pertains to public health and the various competencies that are covered in our program. You do have a 3-person advising committee, including your chair, tenure tracked from HPBS. Your second and third committee member can be any professional with subject matter expertise. The written product has flexibility. There is no page limit. Typically, it has the same chapters as a manuscript, and there is the expectation that you do an oral presentation with your community members and are present for time unlimited Q&A. The deadline here, again, is usually the SDSU graduation deadline, which is about 2 weeks before actual graduation, depending on which semester you are planning to graduate in. Some keynotes on the literature review. In this option, you largely work independently. This requires somebody who has excellent time management and is really interested in the topic to keep you on track. It also requires really strong research method skills, because what you're doing is you're evaluating the work that's been done with others, the research that's done by others, and pulling out the key pieces of information about what was done, what was concluded, and then comparing across different studies. And so you really need to feel confident in your ability to understand the various study designs and conclusions, including analysis and interpretation of analyses. And so this option is not for everybody. So the bottom line, there are some key differences in the various ILE options, largely surrounding the purpose and scope of work. So you might be testing a hypothesis, or you might be forwarding the goals of a community organization and project. The format of the paper differs. Some options are longer than others. Some have some degree of freedom in the content based on the option and who you're working with. The setting in which the project is conducted, again, the capstones must be conducted with a community focus, with a community partner. And there are key differences in terms of what forms are due and the deadlines that you need to meet. So largely the Plan A options have more forms required by the university and earlier deadlines. And so regardless of the option you choose, you want to pay attention to all of the logistical requirements. Similarities. Most projects require some sort of data collection. The clear exception to that is the systematic review. All require mastery of the key principles of public health and research that you learned in the program. All require high-level writing. The writing just might look different based on the option that you choose, but you must be show strong scientific writing skills. So in the next step in your journey of choosing an ILE, there are a few things that you can do. There are additional series in this video. There are additional videos in this series. The next video is about how to choose between the options or factors to consider. What you should also do is look at examples of the different types of ILEs. That's probably the best way to gain a strong understanding of what these projects look like, is seeing examples of what others who came before you have done for the various formats. And so I linked some examples in these slides, and examples are posted on the Canvas homeroom as well as in the shared Google folder. So if you look at the slides that correspond to this presentation, you will be able to link to different options. You can also go to the SDSU thesis repository and look at examples of theses.